So today we are going to be going over multiplying, and dividing fractions. And surprisingly, I think that multiplying and dividing fractions is actually easier than adding and subtracting fractions because you don't have to worry about getting a common denominator, the same denominator. Whereas when you add and subtract fractions, you cannot add or subtract fractions until you get a common denominator. When you multiply and divide fractions, it's okay if you have different denominators. So let's get into multiplying fractions. Let's say you're given a problem, something like 3/4 times 1/3. Now, all you're going to have to do when multiplying fractions is you have to multiply the numerators or the top numbers of the fractions together and the denominators or the bottom numbers on the fractions together. So let's multiply the numerators together. The numerators are 3 and 1. 3 times 1, that is 3. So 3 is going to be the numerator, the top number of our answer. Let's multiply the denominators, 4 and 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So 12 is going to be our denominator. So that's it, 3/12. That could be our answer. But 3/12 simplifies down to 1/4. So 3/4 times 1/3 is 1/4. Okay, now let's do another practice problem for multiplying fractions, then we can get into dividing them. Another practice problem, let's say we were asked to multiply 5/7 and 1/3 together. Once again, we have to multiply our numerators, 5 and 1, and our denominators, 7 and 3. So 5 times 1, that is 5, so that can be our numerator. And 7 times 3, 21, that is our denominator. So since 5/21 cannot simplify, that is going to be our answer for 5/7 times 1/3. Now let's get into dividing fractions. So when I think of dividing fractions, I like to use the phrase keep it, change it, and flip it. Now this is actually a very common phrase. You might see it in other places when you're looking at dividing fractions. And what this phrase means is, let's say you were given a problem like 3/4 divided by 1/6. So you are going to keep, the first part of this phrase is keep, you are going to keep our first fraction. So we're going to make another equation right here. From this 3/4 divided by 1/6, we can make another equation which we can use to solve this problem. So we are going to keep 3/4. Let's keep it. Let's keep 3/4 like this. However, we are going to change our division sign. We are going to change that into a multiplication sign. So our new equation, we're going to change this division sign into a multiplication sign. This dot is a multiplication sign. And we are going to flip our 1/6. And by flipping the 1/6, I mean making the denominator the numerator and the numerator the denominator. So 1/6 becomes 6/1. We are flipping 1/6. And this 6/1 is actually called the reciprocal of 1/6. The flipped fraction is called the reciprocal of the original fraction. So we can just do 3/4 times 1/6. Now we know how to multiply fractions. So 3 times 6 is equal to 18/4. That simplifies down to 9/2 or 4 1/2. So that's our answer. 3/4 divided by 1/6 is 4 1/2 or 9/2. 2. And that is how you divide a fraction. You keep the first fraction, change the division sign into a multiplication sign, and you flip the second fraction. Now let's do one more example division problem. Let's say we're given the problem 7/8 divided by 1/4. We are going to make another equation right here. We are going to keep 7/8. Keep it as 7/8. Change this division sign into a multiplication sign. You never change the division sign into something like an addition or subtraction sign. The division sign is always going to become a multiplication sign. And flip the second fraction, 1/4, and make it 4/1. And this 4/1 is also called the reciprocal of 1/4. Now we can just do our multiplication here. 28/8. That simplifies down to here. Let me just rewrite this. That simplifies down to 7/2. Or also 3 1/2. So 7/2 or 3 1/2 is our answer. 7/8 divided by 1/4 is equal to 3 1/2 or 7/2.